Commission acting as the Inland Wetlands Agency. Today is June 3rd, 2026. Richard Thomas, Jay Fain, Peter Hood is online, Peter Mahoney, Ted Luxinger is online, Diane Saunders all here. I do have a note that Dabney Bowen will be here late, so we'll get here when she gets here. We could all stand, please, and I'll have kids started.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. I will, I'll appoint Diane as a full member for tonight's purposes. The ability to vote. And the approval of the draft minutes Inland Wetlands Agency meeting from May 6, 2026. Do any commissioners have any comments, corrections? Otherwise, I'll.
Why are you looking at me?
No, that's my job. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll go. Yeah, 400 Dunham, I think. I think we state if there's further action typically. So I think it should say scheduled for a site walk on June 10th. And then later on, at the end, when we're talking about the site walks, I think it said May 27th, so that should be changed.
Okay,
And then an inland wetlands meeting on, I'm not sure when that would be scheduled, but it says tonight. So that's clearly not
I
right.
think we're doing a special meeting on the next, right after conservation.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna.
So
do conservation.
2 weeks
So
from
2 weeks,
now,
Yep, and then we were planning to add Dunham on.
that would be the 17th.
Yes,
Okay.
and then Dunham sidewalk will be on the 10th.
What was in the
Is that good?
minutes?
You guys got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, some, just the minutes reflect what was said at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Pardon?
we
The minutes
changed it.
reflect what was said at the time.
Yeah, I didn't go back and
Yeah.
check it, but it just sort of was left hanging that nothing was said about the site walk. But that's all right. I mean, if that's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
and they're gonna be on the agendas for the
Yeah.
sidewalk when they come up, and they'll be on the agenda for the next meeting that we have. Okay? Well, there's no further corrections or comments. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? So move. Any second to that motion? Kate seconds, Jay's motion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good, and sure everybody there is good. All right, well then, we go right into number one, which is continued, it's WP 26-0035 Gibbons, 154 John Street, map 241, parcel 219. Construction of a 70-foot by 78-foot commercial garage within a regulated area. Decision may be made if reviewing is completed, or the hearing will be continued. The 35-day public hearing timeframe to complete the hearing ends on June 10, 2026. An additional 65-day time extension may be provided by the applicant for further public hearing continuations to August 14, 2024. Possible. The potential continuation date is June 17, 2026. The hearing is completed. The agency shall make a decision within 35 days. Staff recommends continuing the public hearing pending submittal of additional information and revised site plan. All right, so we're still in public hearing. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, with the commission, my name is Michael Petrillo. I'm a licensed land surveyor, licensed professional engineer here in the state of Connecticut. Member of the company. We introduced this application last 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And we revised the plans. I hope you're satisfied with that. I tightened up my drainage computations. We also produced a an easement over lot number 90 John Street, along with an easement map. Which was requested. We added a stormwater cleaner to our plan. And that we in quite a few projects in town. Have a separate soil erosion control plan. Last time we had it on our site plan. We just added another sheet. The second sheet is the permit rate. This means for special permit. And our TCO sheet shows the testing. I think we answered all of your questions. Just going back from the opposition's comments. Before one of the comments, number one, the runoff from the building, the metal building, which we had it tied into the storm drainage, goes into the storm water cleaner. It took care of that. Actually, that covers the number 1, 2, and 3. They also mentioned no outlet control underground galley infiltration system had been provided. We didn't have one because there's no public storm water system that's in John Street. Catch basins that you see coming up or down the road, they're private systems. So we're not allowed to tie into anything. So we oversized the system to take care of everything on site. We did that similarly to the property we just did on Old Post Road. It's the piece to the right of the Equinox exercise place. We were gonna tie into the public stormwater system suggested by the engineering department, on Fairfield Engineering Department, that we simply add more units so we don't have to go down a road that has many underground utilities. So we did everything on site, similar, just as we did on this particular project. Yes, let's see. We've done two, from last time, there's 2 8-foot test holes. We didn't encounter anything. We had 3 feet of miscellaneous fill. And then everything was consistent down to a depth of 8 feet. And show on our details, we show more details that we did from the last time. And it was also reviewed recently by the town engineer on Fairfield Engineering Department. And he gave a satisfactory report. We didn't have that last time. Because his opinion, since we didn't include 90 in our presentation, and we didn't have a formal easement on the property. So that was the delay on his report. Okay. Okay.
For the record, my name is Jim McManus. I'm a certified professional soil scientist with JM Wetland Consulting Services with offices in Newtown. If you recall from the last time we were together here, recognize the faces from the site walk, but at the last time we were here, the property does not have any regulated resources or wetland resources or water courses. However, as we all know, there is a wetland about 90 feet west of the 154 northwestern property boundary, which is on parcels 172, 176 John Street. I was actually able to get permission to access that site to review the potential wetland area that was over there. And we're not gonna, I don't know if it is or isn't. We're not gonna have that discussion tonight. It's been delineated by others. I reviewed it. I stuck a few augers in the ground. It's very disturbed. It's mainly maintained lawn with a few planted shrubs and some flowers that the landowner did. It's surrounded by maintained lawn, including homes, roads, driveways, and other urban developments. So, and the long and short of it, I did a function value assessment. Hopefully you had an opportunity to look at my May 27th report. There are no principal function value of that wetland. It's pretty much a low functioning wetland, maybe by definition only. It meets the Connecticut definition of poorly drained soils. Other than that, it's just there. And so I came to the conclusion with, after observing that and the low function value of that offsite wetland, that my opinion that this project that's in front of you will not have a significant adverse impact short-term during construction or long-term with water quality and habitat related functions to the previously identified offsite wetland. I'm here for questions though, but that's kind of the long and short of the report that I put together.
Commissioner.
In your professional opinion, is proposed activity have any impact to the wetlands and water courses, offsite wetlands and water?
It's my opinion that what we're proposing is not going to have an impact to not only the one that's within your upland review area, but any other regulated water courses or wetlands that are adjacent.
So I'll just follow up. So from this, our standard, is it also your opinion there would be no substantial impact to any offsite or onsite wetlands and water?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You have a question, Commissioner?
I have a question. So this is something I'm just not familiar with. So the proposed 1,250 gallon precast oil water separator. So that's a buried,
Yes, it's a modified septic tank. That's required by planning and zoning.
right,
Because
so,
of the type of building.
right, so I am familiar with like buried oil tanks and things like that and the dangers.
It's a septic, concrete.
So so how is that maintained? Like, how do they,
It gets pumped.
and then like,
There's a manhole on top, access manhole on top that's taken off and it's pumped.
right? So how often is it? Like, is that something that like
It depends on the use inside the building. It could be twice a year, it could be once a year.
and like, what is the lifespan? Like, I know, I'm just saying, like, what I do know is the terrible environmental impact of buried oil tanks. They do have a lifespan, like, so what, like, and this is an area that's getting a lot of vibration from the train tracks being right there, like, so like, what is, like, so it's precast, like, so like, this is, needs to be
Concrete,
replaced,
yeah.
right?
It's not a oil, it's not a metal oil, or buried tank in maybe
Right,
somebody's
right,
house. It's a
right.
concrete structure.
Concrete,
It's reinforced concrete.
So it's not gonna rust in place like some of the old.
It's not a oil tank. It's an oil and water separator. It's an environmental precaution. Water goes in there and it acts I'm not testing, maybe
No,
they'll.
yeah, but that's good. So again, if you wouldn't mind,
Okay, yeah.
that you might be able to help us, because I was gonna have the same
yeah,
question.
yeah, cause
So-
it's just my ignorance, it's just that
Yeah,
I'm looking at this.
Maybe I'm not the right, but I'm Jay Fain and I am a professional soil scientist, wetland scientist and environmental consultant. And I probably shouldn't speak for the applicant, but I think there's a misunderstanding here because it's there as an environmental protection rather than a detriment, maybe.
It's required from P and Z.
But you need to.
Yeah, see, that's all I need to understand.
It's a water, well, Mike,
Yeah.
it's a water quality structure that's installed to help with runoff from the site, from the building. It captures oils, grease, grit, and it stores it. And that's what Mike was saying, when it maintained, you suck that out, so it doesn't just discharge to the land, to the environment.
That's
but-
what I really want to understand,
Yeah,
is so
well,
like,
I can get
so it doesn't
more
have an
into the
overflow
details
and.
Of the engineering, but it's a water quality structure that helps with runoff.
Yeah, it does have an overflow, but what it has is baffles so that the only the clean water can exit and go into their
Right.
leaching fields. And the dirty water is kept behind.
Right.
And they have a couple different mechanisms. Sometimes they put those diapers in there, sometimes they don't, but basically the hydrocarbons are different densities, so they separate and then, as needed, they come and suck it out and then you have to have safety cleaner relations people do it, not just a septic guy.
Yeah.
Dispose of it
Does-
properly.
does
Think
this-
of it as an above ground basin, when you
Yes,
have a
yes.
weir with the orifice higher, so the water sits around and sits around and sits around. So when you have a storm and it pushes, quote, the water that's been sitting around has now been cleaned. It's very similar to that. So the overflow Commissioner Fain was talking about, so that water that get pushed out during a larger storm has been sitting around for a while. And the dirtier water that hasn't had a chance to settle out the sediment and whatever else that's going on stays behind inside the structure itself.
And from, on top of that, from that unit goes to the catch basin. Catch basin goes to the stormwater cleaner, which again, will clean it a second time.
Yeah, so
Then
we
it
have,
goes into the underground.
we have redundant water quality structures on the site.
Okay,
Can I ask a question, even though it's just a bit outside of our jurisdiction? Would your client still need to get a dealer's repairer's license for automobiles and like to repair the trucks that are gonna be repaired there? Is the Department of Motor Vehicles involved in any way? Because I know they also have requirements that they have environmental people on staff, including emergency, there's rules in place. So that's a question that I would,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
are you required to get a license from the Department of Motor Vehicles?
No, not for what I'm doing, no.
Not for what you're
No,
doing?
because I'm not bringing the whole cars in, I'm just bringing engines and components and that sort of thing. I'm not gonna bring like vehicles in, put them on the lift.
Yeah, that's my question. You're not doing that. Okay, so you're going in components. So if
Right.
anything were to leak or it would go into a drain that goes into that mechanism.
Right, it'll be inside the building.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And again, we have dual water quality structures, man-made, I mean,
Yeah,
it's engineered,
yes.
but still, it's water quality structures that are recognized as performing their water quality requirements of the deep.
And there's no release at all from your site. Everything's contained on your site.
It's contained on site.
And there's no, this is not an aquifer protection area. There's no wells in the.
Not that I'm aware of. No, we're not in that zone here. on this
Not that
particular
that's
site.
relevant, I just wanted to
Yeah, right.
make that clear.
Commissioners online, Ted or Peter, any questions? Because I can't actually see you. Well, I can see Peter a little bit, but.
My questions really are focused around, I still feel I don't have completion in the application. There just isn't anything there in terms of the alternative proposals. I think what we were told last time, see, for me, the law dictates that we really can only approve only the most feasible and prudent alternative. And so we need information on other alternatives. And if we don't have that, we really can't do our job. And typically, the alternatives talk about footprint reduction, maybe site shifting or alternative construction methods, and maybe some LID stuff. And all I have on my application is work outside. And so I'm frustrated by that. And so in my opinion, right now, this application is not complete.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could respond to that.
Sure.
There is a requirement that you need to have a potential to have an impact to a regulated resource. We don't have. one. So our alternative is suitable. We have no impact. I'll go on the record again. We will not have an impact, either short or long term, on the offsite resource that's 90+ feet away. So technically, we don't have to prove an alternative is better because we don't have any impact to this alternative.
I'm grateful for that clarification. I just want this all kind of out
Yeah.
loud.
No, that's
And we appreciate that,
that's exactly why we're
Commissioner
here.
Hood. We appreciate your thoroughness, but it's a little bit more nuanced than just that.
Mr. McInnes,
Right, but I did notice that there was some conversations and the applicant had written a letter, and I like things said out loud.
I agree. I agree.
Commissioners, any further questions to the applicant or their representatives?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You guys you're good?
We're done.
You're
Yeah.
done? All right, so now this is still a public hearing.
Yep.
So now the next step for us will be, is there anybody here in the audience that is in support of this application that you'd like to come up and speak? Give your name and address. Is there anybody online that would like to speak in support of this application? Give us your name and address. Hearing none there, is there anybody here in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this? Please come on up and give us your name and address and. Yeah. Okay. Council, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, staff. My name is Joel Green. I practice law in Bridgeport with the law offices of Green and Gross, and it's my pleasure to appear before you this evening on behalf of the residences at Southport Green, who owns a budding property. I'm going to say, as you saw during the site walk, I'm going to say just to the north of this property generally. And obviously, there is significant concern on the part of my clients. There is significant concern in the Southport community. Obviously, it is the position of my client, and I think it's a sense in the community that the proposed development is really inappropriate. I think during the site walk, you saw the condition of the property at 90 John Street. And I certainly respect the rights of property owners to use properties in a manner which they see fit and a manner which is allowed under the various regulations, our wetlands regulations, our zoning regulations. In my view, that is not what's occurring. Certainly, I understand that there was a grandfathered use and there was Dowit had operated there for a long time, but I would say that the present use of that property doesn't mirror anything in terms of the business that formerly existed there. And it really, there's just so many abandoned vehicles and pieces of equipment sitting there. And there are significant concerns. I mean, the appearance is awful. And many of my clients have to look at that every day. But in terms of the jurisdiction of this commission, I'm not going to be long tonight, but I just have a few points I want to get into. First of all,
I want to thank you for stating it that way, because it would be one of the things I would say, that we have limited jurisdiction. Mentioned zoning. Understood much about that, but obviously, counsel, you are excellent at what you do. So please let us know your client's positions within the bounds of our jurisdiction.
right, so I just did that sort of as what the motivation is to be here.
Yeah.
We don't wish the applicant any ill will, but it's. So I basically have three major sort of subjects. First of all, there's been a number of new submissions in the last few days, and I have been tied up in court and with some other hearings, and I have frankly not reviewed them carefully. I did look online and I did see some of them, and I noticed that there is now an easement in the record. And again, I haven't reviewed everything in detail. I think that the easement has been produced is defective in its form. But I would urge the commission to consider holding the public hearing open to allow the public a full and fair opportunity to review what has been submitted. So that's item one. Item two, the documents that are in the record, such as for example, the data accumulation plan, they're very difficult to read. And one of our concerns is that we believe that there are environmental impacts from the present use of 90 John Street. 90 John Street is obviously, by virtue of the easement, now part of this application. wasn't originally indicated in the application or indicated in any of the documents, but well, it wasn't the site plan, but I'm the references. But it is clearly, and I would suggest that that property, based on the site walk and the appearance, is up gradient. The 90 is kind of up gradient, and I noticed that the property does slope towards the west, towards the southwest. And I think that this commission, under 7.5L of your regulations, you have the right. And to the point of the commissioner who was online, this commission can request any other information that the agency deems necessary to the understanding of what is proposed. And I would suggest that a clean A2 survey that shows the contours of the site would be easier to read. I think it would inform the commission of what the potential, what the true gradient is of the property. And I'm just saying it's not well represented in this document. I do have Mr. Trinkus with me tonight, and he has another matter. So what I would like to do is maybe just introduce him now and have him make his presentation, and then I will finish my remarks and tie them into where I am presently.
Very well. Mr. Trinkus, can you hear
Yes.
us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Steve Trinkus, professional engineer for the record, from Southbury, Connecticut. I reviewed the plans and we issued a letter on May 4th, 2006. Would I be able to share my screen just briefly to show one document?
Yes, give me a second as our staff here will set that up.
You should be able to now.
You should be able to share now, yes.
Okay, this is the applicant's data accumulation plan, and I just need to clarify the prior discussion that the applicant had about this oil water separator. The oil water separator is this rectangle right in front of the building. It has a line going into the building. Automobile repair facilities, per DEP requirement, floor drains are in the building, but they must go through this separator. However, this separator runoff does not go to the gallery system. This goes to a manhole and goes to the sanitary sewer system. So this oil water separator is simply for the floor drains in the building, not for anything on the roof, not for the parking lot at all. I think the applicant kind of implied that the water was coming through here and then going to the gallery system. That's not the case based on the site plans. But while we have this plan up, we have a large underground gallery system here with no outlet. I've designed detention systems going back to the early 80s. No matter what type of system you have, you always have to have an outlet. You cannot assume all your water is going to infiltrate, even if it warrants extending drainage on a municipal road. You need to have a control system and an outlet for this water to go. The problem with this particular site, there's multiple issues, but there's no pre-treatment of the roof runoff or the driveway runoff that goes here. We have two roof drains that come into the gallery system. There's one catch basin on the northern side of the parking lot with a pipe going into it. But the southern parking lot, there's no drainage unless it's going to kind of sweep around and come into this catch basin. But the catch basin provides minimal, if any, treatment of runoff. Underground infiltration systems require pre-treatment, especially when you're in coarse grain sand and gravel, which based on the test bits we appear to have here. Because the water moves so quickly through the sand and gravel, pollutants do not get attenuated in coarse grain materials. They simply are moving too fast through the sand and gravel, and they ultimately get down to the groundwater table. The applicant did do a percolation test. Those are prohibited by the 24 DEP stormwater manual, which your town regulations now reference. You have to do double ring infiltration tests or borehole infiltration tests, and they have to be done at or below the bottom of the system. The perk test was about 3.5 feet down. This system is about 7 foot to the bottom. So, that test really has no validity, and hence the whole stormwater model falls apart because you cannot convert a percolation rate to an infiltration rate. They are two distinct tests. The biggest issue on this site is an automobile repair facility, whether you do things inside, outside, or a combination of, is called out as a high pollutant load site by the DEP 24 manual, specifically in table 10.4. In those high pollutant load sites, which can also be bus parking lots, they can be, I'm trying to think of some other, other industrial uses, you are prohibited from infiltration of water completely. You cannot infiltrate the water. If you put a system like this in, it has to be in a line system because the increased risk of pollutants, particularly metals and hydrocarbons, getting into the groundwater and moving following the groundwater gradient. So right off the bat, you cannot have this system here. It violates the DEP manual. And as your regulations reference the DEP manual, it also is problematic and not complying with the Fairfield regulations. As far as that goes, there is no detail of this separator here. We have a generic detail of a gallery, but we have no elevations on the gallery systems. So it's impossible really to evaluate how well this system would work on this site. But these sites are going to have high metals and hydrocarbons because of the vehicles moving in and out, even if there are no spills outside. But any pollutants that get into the sand and gravel are going to follow the groundwater, which is likely moving towards the west based on the existing contours, and ultimately to a wetland system somewhere else. But the bottom line is that you can't have this type of system on this site. It violates all engineering practices to protect the groundwater.
Mr. Trinkus, if I may, so it was clarified tonight that the facility is involved with either repair of parts and equipment, it sounds like. Is that still in that high intensity use?
Yes, yeah, it's vehicle repair facilities. So no matter kind of what you repair, whether you're pulling engines apart, transmissions, or taking cars apart and putting them back together, it all falls under the same category.
That's the question that I asked. I don't think he's vehicle repair. It's the parts themselves. I don't think he takes them apart there. But I can ask when they come back. Yeah.
So if it's fabricating or repair of parts, sort of a manufacturing use, does that count as this use that you're referring to?
I believe it would. DEP does not call out specific things, but they talk about this general type of automobile use.
That's a problem. And based on, you've reviewed the drawings, and do you, based on your professional opinion, do these drawings as they are prepared provide an adequate foundation for this commission, acting as the inland wetland agency, to draw conclusions as to impacts on the wetlands, which are admittedly off-site to the west, but once again, without knowing the sort of clearly the contours and the contours off-site, can it be demonstrated, in your opinion, whether there are or are not impacts on off-site wetlands?
There is a high probability of adverse impacts to groundwater quality, which ultimately is going to show up as surface water at some point down gradient because of the lack of treatment of the runoff, from the roof and the parking lot itself.
And you're aware that there's 100-foot regulated upland review area that touches this site, so that in theory, the off-site wetlands could be 190 or 100 feet away. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, water moves downhill and ultimately will get to that off-site wetland based on the contours that show it sloping off to the west. Groundwater generally follows the topographic contour.
And there are no contours shown for the adjacent property at 172, is that correct?
Yes.
Other than the tails off the site. So then it would be fair to say that you can't conclude that further supports your conclusion that the impacts can't be assessed based on this application, or that there are adverse impacts.
There's inadequate information to assess what the pollutant loads will be and what will, if any, treatment, provided. I will say a catch basin, a standard catch basin with a 2-foot sump will remove 5% of total suspended solids, and maybe about 7 or 8% of metals, and that's it. Everything else is going to go on that gallery, go through the gravel, and ultimately wind up downhill at a wetland.
I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if the commission has questions.
Yes, it'll, if Mr. Trinkus is.
I have no more questions for him, but he has to.
He has to go. Okay.
I would like to know, for standards, what the substantial impact you said there's a high probability, but we need to know what the exact substantial impact of the wetlands will be from stormwater management system.
In my professional opinion, the burden proving it is necessary is the applicant's burden to prove that they will not have an impact on it. Based on the information on this plan, the lack of pre-treatment of the runoff, I will tell you, you're going to have high metals and hydrocarbons and nutrients ultimately reaching that wetland because there is no treatment for those items proposed on the site.
What wetland are we talking about? Sorry.
I don't want to lose control here. We have to rely on our testimony of the experts, and their testimony has been that there will be no substantial impact. I'm asking you what the substantial impact would be and what the level of elevated metals and hydrocarbons would be that will impact the wetland.
I have not done that analysis. However, I can do that analysis. I just have not done it at this time.
Can you do that based on the information that the applicant has put into the record?
With what's on the data accumulation plan, yes, I can.
And to the wetlands themselves?
What I can assess is what the loads will be generated by the site and what will be removed by basically the singular catch basin and what will remain, thus going into the groundwater. And if you're changing the mix of the groundwater by adding pollutants to it, that's clearly an adverse impact. And groundwater does always show up in a surface water at some point down gradient of a site.
And also, just so we're clear on the PERC test, just so the commission understands, your point is that you have to dig to a depth which establishes the quality of the soil to a depth of 36 inches below the bottom of the basin or the treatment practice. Is that correct?
Yeah, the DEP manual requires the infiltration tests are done at or below the bottom of any stormwater practice that's going to claim infiltration. And this one at 3.5 feet was not done at that depth. Also, a PERC test measures horizontal and vertical movement of water in the soil, which is what we use for design of septic systems. For stormwater, we simply use what's called vertical permeability, and that's just the vertical movement of water. And you cannot convert a PERC test to an infiltration rate. They're apples and oranges.
Trinkus, did you review the statement of consistency from the town of Fairfield Engineering Department?
Yes, I did, and I respectively disagree with the conclusion.
Okay. Commissioners, any further questions for Mr. Trinkus? And Mr. Trinkus is your expert that you're offering. Will he be able to, is this his report, or will he be able to produce a document at some point?
So he's produced, he has
Okay.
produced a report, and it was dated May 5th.
I'm sorry,
Oh, that's all right.
that we do have.
There's a lot of material and it's. However, if you would like additional information such as the sections of the stormwater manual, I'd be happy to submit the stormwater manual into the record so the record's complete.
Just for the record, that is a guideline. The state stormwater manual is a guideline.
Well, this is a point of great debate. Many towns have adopted it as the standard So I understand that it is, quote, the Bible and it's a guideline. Many towns have adopted it as a standard, and I think under certain circumstances, Fairfield has in some of their regulations. So it is best practices, though. So your point is well taken, but.
Thank you. Commissioners, any further questions of council here for, I guess, the group? Or Mr. Trinkus?
My question would be, given the,
Commissioner Lipsinger.
given the inadequate nature of the stormwater treatment, what would Mr. Trinkus's approach be to resolving that problem?
Steve Trinkus again for the record. With all due respect to the commissioner, it's not my job to tell the applicant how to design the site. My job is to review it and tell you whether it works or it doesn't work. There are a litany of stormwater practices in the 24 manual. They could be used on this site, and that is up to the design engineer.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you for saying that.
That was Commissioner Hood.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So, your permission, I would like to excuse Mr. Trinkus so that he can go to Hamden. Is that?
Sure, I will be giving the applicant the ability to respond.
Good.
So I don't know if you would want to listen to that.
Mr. Trinkus, how would you like to proceed?
I would actually like to go to my other meeting, but I'm sure Attorney Green will give me a summary of any comments. And if you,
Just get
and as I said before, if you want an analysis of the water quality loads, I can do that if you continue the hearing.
Okay, thank you. Hope that would be taken under advisement.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I just have a few comments on the completeness of the application, and you'll forgive me, but some of the data may have been provided to the commission, but aren't on the site. For example, is the deep reporting form still used by the town, or is that reporting form that you have at the beginning of the application now submitted to deep? In other words, that there is that standard deep reporting form.
Those are going online.
Is that?
Those are now online, submitted online.
Okay, and has that?
There are decisions been made.
Oh, I thought that the applicant, as part of, the regulations maybe need to be updated in terms of the application requirements.
That's new this year from DEP, so
Okay,
that hasn't changed.
All right, so-
in the regs yet.
mental note next time we amend the regulation. So, and the addresses of property owners within a certain distance, is that all, how is that now provided to the commission? Because I note that that's a requirement that hasn't been complied with in the application.
Within 100 feet,
The butters within.
100 feet, not necessarily adjacent, but within 100 feet.
Right. Because several of my clients, several residents who own interests in the common areas of the association weren't notified.
The HOA is also supposed to receive it in the event that there's a multifamily, multi-unit
Understood.
establishment.
Understood. Okay. So, so what we would, look, our position is that we would urge the commission to hold the public hearing open based on the new information that is submitted. We would urge the commission to ask for this information that, for example, Mr. Trinkus has identified. I would suggest that an A2 survey be provided, and potentially a survey that shows the contours of 172 John Street, between the edge of the wetland that's subject of the application and the edge of the upland review area, which would enable the commission to sort of better understand what Mr. Trinkus spoke about the migration of those pollutants. As I understand his comment that generally that contour follows the surface of the land. And once again, just give me a moment. I would welcome an opportunity to comment on some of the new materials, and I did not provide them to Mr. Turnus, but I know that he referenced tonight that he saw some of them. I note that Adam Blank and his colleague, Attorney Dignati, is here tonight. And it strikes me that Attorney Blank represents the owner of the abutting property at 136 John Street, and it raised environmental concerns arising from the present condition of 90 John Street. And it struck me that the applicant had provided a response, which I saw, where the applicant said, there is no environmental issue, and there's no kind of environmental study, and there's no report that establishes that that site is clean where this project is proposed. And I think that's something that this commission might ask for as well, based on the incredible amount of junk sitting on that site that has been sitting there for a long time, to the point where there are plants growing through. I saw it with plants growing through it. And obviously, this commission is aware that sort of equipment drops oil, drops fluids, drops metals, and gets washed with every rainstorm. So that's something else that this commission might consider asking for under 7.5L. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I certainly want to thank you for your patience, your attention, and your thorough job done with this application.
Commissioners, any questions to council?
Not sure I should ask this question.
Can ask me first. That was answered by staff. So there's a requirement that notice go to butters
Correct.
at 100 feet. I'm assuming one of your clients is a condo association of some sort, and maybe somebody who was in the condo association, the condo unit owner may not have gotten notice, but the condo association got notice.
So those notices are generally available through the town database. And I would suggest that a lot of unit owners have interests in the property, but I think significantly, the applicant had to submit a list of names and addresses, and we would have the opportunity to review the names and addresses to see that it's complete and notice for purposes of the jurisdiction of the commission.
We have that.
Do we have it? I don't, it's not on the site.
We can confirm that. Sarah's looking now. We'll confirm the abutters list is available.
And you'll make sure that Attorney Green gets a copy.
Sure. Yeah, and I just want to be upfront and.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're
In compliance.
the applicant.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Council? We have more work to do.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, staff. My name is Emma Dignati of Wofsy Rosen. We represent Affordable Holdings, which is the parcel Attorney Green referenced. It owns 136 John Street, the parcel on the corner directly in between the applicant's two lots at 154 and 90 John Street. I don't often sit on the same side of an application as Attorney Green. So for tonight, I have the pleasure of saying that I echo many of Attorney Green's comments. We did submit a written opposition dated May 6th. I'll be brief tonight. I'll hit only the points that matter most, and I'll try to tailor them to the latest materials that were uploaded by the applicant. So our request is simple, and that is that you deny WP 26-0035 at 154 Front Street. There's absolutely no question that this agency has jurisdiction. There is a regulated activity in the 100-foot uplands review area of the wetlands on the adjoining 172 to 176 John Street parcel. Those wetlands have been delineated. They are within your regulated area, and that is why we're here tonight. Under your regulations, the burden is on the applicant to show that the activity is not going to have an adverse impact on those wetlands. The agency has to affirmatively be able to make that finding. And tonight on this record, you can't for two independent reasons. Number one, the application's incomplete. Number two, the use is high risk. This agency has already seen that the applicant's neighboring parcel at 90 John Street is not adequately maintained. Reviewing what's been filed, the drainage submission is missing some of the basic information that you need to evaluate the impact at all. There's no existing or proposed watershed mapping. There are no flow paths, and there's no comparison of drainage conditions before and after development across a full range of storms. So there's no adequate before and after picture for the agency to review. The infiltration system's also designed without any debris catching structures ahead of it, meaning it can clog over time. And without outlet relief, overflow becomes foreseeable. It's not hypothetical. And the proposed design isn't presented on a typical design plan. It's on what is essentially a survey document, a data accumulation plan, which isn't meant to convey an engineered design. The sewer lateral that's supposed to handle waste from this facility is simply left to the contractor to figure out. There's no pipe sizing, no slopes, no connection or street repair details. The point's straightforward. You cannot find no adverse impact on a record that doesn't show you the impact. That alone is a reason to deny or at a minimum not to approve it tonight. As for the use itself, the plan is to build some sort of a commercial garage operation in the backyard of a single family home, with the garage to be accessed through 90 John Street, effectively merging the lots into one expanded truck repair with a vehicle component repair operation. Repair of any part of a vehicle means petroleum, solvents, vehicle-related fluids, and runoffs from the new impervious surface, both inside and adjacent to the wetlands review area. This is precisely the activity that your regulations exist to scrutinize. And the best evidence of how this parcel will be managed is the applicant's own adjacent operation. 90 John Street is a junkyard. It has decaying vehicles, longstanding neighbor concern about fluids leaking into the soil and the groundwater. And that's the baseline that you all assess this application against. You walked the property and you saw the overgrown, poorly maintained parcel at 90 John Street. And here's another thing that concerns us about this proposal. Right now, whatever happens on the land is visible to the neighbors, to the street, to this agency on a sidewalk. A commercial garage encloses this operation as it's proposed. Fluid handling, storage, and disposal are moving behind walls and out of sight, reducing oversight in exactly the place where environmental risk is highest. So when you combine an active repair use, a documented history of poor maintenance, and an incomplete stormwater design, the reasonably foreseeable risk of fluid discharge into the review area is real, and nothing in this record rules it out. One last note. We're not aware of an environmental assessment on this parcel. And I understand that this agency doesn't require, for example, a phase 1 environmental assessment, but the absence of that level of subsurface investigation on a parcel next to an active repair yard with an inadequate maintenance history is exactly why no one should simply assume that the soils and groundwater here are clean. Any lender financing this project would want that comfort. This agency should want it too before it can find no adverse impact. So our request again, deny the application before you. And if the agency is not prepared to deny it outright tonight, it should not be approved on this incomplete record. It should require a complete, properly engineered drainage design to assess the adverse impact of the proposed use. The burden here is the applicants, not the agencies. On this record, it hasn't been met. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, counsel. That was very well done. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Any comments?
I have just one brief question. Did you submit the letter that we read a few weeks back? I remember there was a mention of an ephemeral stream, and I have to be honest, I didn't see that when we were on the site.
We did submit a letter a few weeks back. I don't remember that mention. It may have been an error, and if it was, I apologize.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you.
I would think the applicant. Oh.
Okay. I just want to make a comment. The public just confirmed that wasn't our letter. I don't remember that mention in our letter for whatever.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else either here or online that I guess in opposition that would add anything more than what both council have added? We've heard, we have on the record. And if not, then thank you for that part. Nobody's online. Then the applicants come if you'd like to.
I want to make one brief statement, Jim. My inclination is that we hold this public hearing open. So, if you're happy, you're free to respond tonight, but if you want to give a more thorough response, I think we're gonna.
Thank you, Jay, but we don't need, we like the public hearing closed. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute, but I'm not gonna focus on the engineering, but however, I'm just gonna focus on the wetlands. On and offsite, offsite and adjacent, whatever. So far tonight, the opposition has had two attorneys and an engineer talk about the wetlands and how they're trying to protect them. They're not qualified to make an assessment on the functionality of the wetland. Now, I'm the only one in this entire room that has actually studied the wetland that's offsite. In all due respect to the counselor, I don't think she wants me to delineate that wetland because it will go away and I'll pick my ball up and go home. Because that is not probably a regulated wetland, but I'm not here to talk about that because it was delineated and it is shown on town mapping. However, the level of disturbance within that wetland, I'm not sure, and it's not going to be a sheet flow issue. We're not going to have sheet flow coming from 90 into that resource. And that's, you couldn't tell the difference if we were just impacting that wetland or it's just impacted from the environment. Off-site wetlands beyond the upland review area, you're surrounded by 995, a well-traveled railroad, number of roads, driveways, lawns, including the one that's adjacent to our site that we're discussing this evening. It would be hard pressed, even if you don't like our stormwater design, you'd be hard pressed to figure out where the impacts, you could peg the impact on us through the amount of untreated runoff and pollutants coming from lawns, roads, highways, trains. This whole thing is starting to get a little bit out of control for something that's 95 feet away from a wetland that's probably not a wetland and has zero function other than it meets the state definition of a regulated area. I'll let Mike talk about wetlands, about his engineering.
Commissioners, any questions to? Yep.
So I just wanted to make, thanks, Jim, but I just wanted to make, I guess, just a point that we have to listen to the experts.
Yeah.
And I recognize Jim as an expert, but I also have to recognize that they have an engineering expert, so that's the case law, and that's what about them.
Okay.
The first map in our set shows the existing contours and shows proposed contours. Looking at number 90 John Street, existing grades fall towards Southport Investment. And 154, that's the same thing, goes to the north. I've got a map of the piece next door, 172. That shows just what Mr. McManus says. The water from these two parcels did not get to that wetlands. Am I allowed to submit this map to you people so you can take a look at this?
Is that different?
This is the piece next door. You don't have this piece. This is the piece, the adjacent piece to our piece.
This is what number is this?
Once.
172?
172, 176.
Okay, yes.
Sure.
Mark that as an exhibit.
Yes.
Mark that as an exhibit.
It's a different, it's a different scale, okay?
Okay.
I don't know, it's easy.
So this is the part,
Yeah, let's.
Show it so that everybody in the room can see it all.
Well, once I see what he's showing us, so at least I'll be able to have the ability.
Hold it up, Mr. Chairman.
This is us.
right,
Yeah.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
the 100
Yep.
foot.
right.
And this is the thing
Here's
back
our
here.
building. The maps submitted on my first sheet, so this draining goes the north, okay? These contours here,
We were standing here, right?
show a high point here.
Yes.
We were standing here.
Looking down.
Yeah,
toward
yeah, yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
going
You were
this
looking
way.
sort of,
Yeah.
This is going this way.
we're looking
Here's your
toward
wetland.
southwest.
This is not draining this way. Okay.
You want me to hold it up?
Yeah, now if you.
Whoops, you're right. Got it.
Yeah.
Everybody see?
So,
You just show that
Do
again.
you want,
to-
yeah, why don't you point?
that
with
Can
out.
you
your
just kind of go through that one more time real quick?
and
Yeah,
again.
for the camera.
Oh, geez.
There's one right there. Yeah.
Okay,
There we go,
Oh,
yes,
I love it.
got it?
yep. So you can,
This is the subject property. This is our property that we're talking about today. This is the piece next door. This is a different scale, so it looks bigger. But this is the common property line between us and neighbor. This is the 100-foot setback from the designated wetland that sits in this northwest corner. That's the closest adjacent wetland. The high point is a ridge that runs through the neighbor's property, showing that this this part of this lot next door does not go to this wetland. It goes to the northwest. So no matter what we do here, it's not getting to that wetland.
okay,
And I
Thank you,
would
sir.
recommend that you include that in your submission.
You're submitting this?
I know, but I think we could talk about it in a while, but it looks like we're gonna, my opinion was we leave this public hearing open and we're gonna ask for additional information, and that would be good to bring that forward in the middle.
Anything further, sir?
Just for instance, the attorney mentioned about the sewer line. The sewer line is deep enough that's in the street. I do have an invert on the existing manhole that we're going to tie in short distance away from. I show the top of frame at 1340. The invert is, again, I'll put this on another revised map that you'll get next time. The invert's down at about 740. Building is at 15, so there's plenty of slope. I point out on my map, it's a proposed 6-inch diameter sanitary sewer, the minimum slope of 1/4 inch per foot. That's required on a 6-inch pipe. This slope on this proposed sewer line will be just over 3%, so it exceeds the minimum by a lot. I'm sorry I didn't misspeak about the oil water separator. It goes to the sanitary sewer. It's supposed to go. I misspoke by saying it's going to the catch basin. Just the roof leaders themselves from the building are going to that catch basin which goes to the stormwater cleaner that goes into the gallery system. And again, we did the same thing without an outlet on the piece next to Equinox that are gonna be, I believe there was 4 townhouses, 8 units, and we had proposed a 6-inch overflow tie-in to a public sewer down on Reynolds Drive.
I don't think it's the system that's having
Well,
issues with us. It's the.
He's talking
activity
about-
That's gonna be.
He's saying
there.
it definitely needs an overflow. Doesn't definitely need an overflow. And the town recommended that we added more units, and that's how we solved that problem. Plenty of units in here. And also on the perk test, I use the HydroCAD system, which is accepted by this town and most towns that I've worked in the whole area. Okay. And I've been with Huntington Company for 26 years. And we did a lot of the towns from Norwalk, Bridgeport, all the towns, Westport, Weston, and Trumbull, Monroe, they all accept that system. And the soil testing is a perk test. In Trumbull, about 10 years ago, when Laura Pooley was the assistant town engineer, she made us, when we did a perk test, double the size. So if something perked 1 inch and 10, would have to design for 1 inch and 20, which would make the system 2 times bigger. And we did that since she established that. And we also did it on this project. So the perk test and HydroCAD, that's part of the HydroCAD program that's accepted in most towns that we work in here.
Thank you. Is there anything further from the applicant or your?
I have something to say.
Sure.
In regards to Affordable Housing LLC, those comments they're out of line. It's defamation of character. Well, I do have something to say,
Okay,
and I want to say.
if it's pertinent to
It's
your
pertinent
application.
because this gentleman has been bothering me about buying my property. I told him, you're not
That's fine.
for sale.
But is it?
So that's the reason why he's
Okay.
trying to put the
I got you.
kibosh
I got you.
on my plans.
I appreciate that.
Nonsense, other nonsense.
Okay.
Disgusting.
So I'd like to, anything further? Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I'd like to bring up something that we've done in the past, other applications where I'm getting the feeling it's 1, conflicting information, 2, not sure. We have enough information. Would this be an application where a third party might be a good, and if it comes back to the applicant side, then we're done. If it doesn't, then the applicant would be able to remedy that. What do you guys think?
Probably an excellent idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Because it just, I'm.
So much conflicting information when we have to sit here and judge it, and I think it's beyond our expertise in some.
And truthfully, this application with the intensity of use is not something that I really feel comfortable. I mean, the amount of petroleum products, I mean, this is something that's,
Yeah,
I think
but
that, yeah,
If the third party comes back and
Exactly.
says, hey, no,
Right,
this is
so I think that it's-
perfectly
yes.
fine,
right.
then we've done our job on our jurisdictional thing. They're gonna have to go to zoning and then let zoning do. this.
Right. So I would think a third party would be great.
But Mr. Chairman, what is the impact to the wetland that's 90 feet away that requires a third-party review?
So that's what
We don't know,
We don't-
because right now, I think there's enough from enough evidence, or at least the question from a expert that they brought, who is an engineer, that might be a little off. Obviously, Mr. McManus, you are well regarded, well respected by all of us here, but it just seems like it's not as clear cut as one way or the other.
Yeah,
I hear what you said.
Yep.
I understand what you said, but it almost doesn't jive for me in the sense, there's gonna be because I'm an attorney. For the record, I have done, and that's why I asked the question before. I've shepherded through people that open up auto mechanic shops, right? So there's stuff all over the place, and Department of Motor Vehicles comes, and so I'm not clear personally, where does that go? If you have an engine, the engine comes in, it's opened up, and there's oil that went down. I'm not sure. And I just don't feel comfortable, and I think my commissioners might feel the same way. And it might help you. Maybe the third party comes in and says, they're absolutely correct, and we're done.
I think that's the exact point. It's gonna help all parties, not just the opposition. It's gonna help both parties. I think it clarifies the record and gives us something that we can look to and feel comfortable with.
And I don't disagree with what y'all just said. I just said, I'm just saying for the record that we're 90 odd feet away from an extremely disturbed wetland that may not even be a wetland if I would actually be hired to figure it out. So I'm saying that the impact to the wetland, where is it? That's all I'm saying. Where is it? What are we actually protecting? It's barely a wetland as it is today, and it's surrounded by maintained lawn and is kept as maintained lawn. What is the protection, and what are we all concerned about?
Yes, Counsel.
With all due respect to Mr. McManus, we've worked together many times. I respect him as well, but I'm not sure that procedurally that it should be a debate between.
I understand. I
appreciate.
But yep, so.
I'm just putting it on the record, Mr.
You are,
Chairman.
and it's very well, and I think that's why we are, I don't know, do we vote on that?
Can I just say something?
Oh, yeah, Peter, I'm
I
so
don't,
sorry,
I
Peter.
don't think I really don't think we've been in this position before. The very, very similar. And I don't think we want to get into a situation where we don't want to accept questions that are asked or reject them because the person who asked the question doesn't have the information to prove the theory behind their question. I mean, I think that's a little messed up the way I'm explaining it, but it just seems to me when you have someone that wants to question some of the procedures we're looking at, I don't think we need to ask them, you have to bring the proof along with you. That's where I'm coming from. So I really would support keeping this open.
I would just like to point out also that this commission likes to make decisions based on definitive information. And we reserve the right to hire, and secure our own third-party experts to get to that point if we have to. So I'll make a motion that the commission secure a third-party consultant.
To clarify, Vice Chair, this is for stormwater engineering? Okay, just one.
No, it's all,
Well,
it's ultimately is to determine the impact of wetlands.
Right. So to verify that it's a wetland.
Well, not very, but.
No,
I
I
just
don't
want to
think-
make sure I know who to hire.
Oh, right.
So that's why I just want to ask on the record
No,
who
we're
you want me to
being
get.
charged to ask is there substantial impact to the wetlands. That's what we have to use as our.
Okay.
So whether it's a stormwater engineer or a wetland scientist that has the right or both, that's what we have, the question we have to answer.
Thank you.
I second that.
Okay, so it's Dabney's motion. Commissioner Luxinger seconds that. All in, thanks, Peter. All in favor? Yes. Okay. Hold on for just a minute. Ted, I don't think you're an alternate, but I don't think you have the ability to vote. No, Ted's not an
Yeah,
alternate.
he's
I'm
not.
sorry. My mistake. Diane, you were put on as an alternate, right?
Yes.
Okay, all set. Sorry, Ted. Yes, we're all good. Ted second, and it passes. So we'll need to get.
With the procedure question, Tim, what do we do now? We guess we're in a waiting game? We're in
Yeah,
a waiting
the public hearing stays open. These, Tim will find somebody to do something and get us that information.
You saw, you heard the comments. And I would, I think that your responses are important.
And you obviously, the moment we have a report, you're
Yeah.
getting it. Yeah.
Read these into the.
Yes, please.
Just procedurally, I wanted to read into the record what was recently received, since that was discussed tonight and although it's on, materials are on the public cloud from the department. New items received recently from, read into the record from the Huntington Company revision date of May 26th, 2026, data accumulation plan received by the department stamped June 1st. The site investigation function value assessment from JMM Wetland Consulting Services LLC, Jim alluded to earlier, dated May 27th, 2026, received by the department June 2nd, 2026. And also referenced tonight a statement of consistency from the town of Fairfield. Engineering department dated today, June 3rd, 2026, received today, June 3rd, 2026. Signed by town staff, engineering staff, Santiago. I just want to read those into the record that they were received in the last few days.
Thank you, Director Bishop.
And also a correction on, I did want to point out as well on the statement of consistency from today. The permit number reference in the top right corner of that form is incorrect. That is the wrong permit number related to this application. So
Okay.
that should read WP 260035.
0035, not 0874.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Motion.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing. I'm not sure what date we want to do that, not the 17th, I assume.
Is the
What?
applicant the one that grants that? I'm a little confused there.
I mean, we don't, our time limit, are we?
Not yet.
So further public hearing continuations to August 14th, so the August date. So we can go on to the August date.
We still in, Mr. Chairman, we're still good with time on.
Yeah, we are. That's why we're still good. So August 14th is obviously later, so it'll be that first week.
So there's no July meeting.
No July meeting. There is a June, another
We're not
one.
gonna be
We're
ready.
not gonna be ready for that. So there's no July meetings. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Did we have a second on your motion? No. Okay, so a second to the public hearing being continued. All in favor, the public hearing is continued. Okay, very good. Thank you.
I second it.
Number two, WP 26-0052.
Thanks for clearing.
We still have other business. You guys, yours is over.
I got it.
WP 26-0052, Polster Industries, 2834 Reading Road, map 167, parcel 16. I'm not going to read it. This one, the applicant asked for a continuance.
Right.
We're not going to do that tonight. Okay. But I will note that staff recommends approval with conditions. So okay. So either way. Okay, moving on. Roman numeral 6, applications awaiting public hearing. WP 26-0046, Land Tech 476 Mill Hill Terrace, map 228, parcel 30. Demolition of an existing structure and construction of a new single-family dwelling with stormwater detention system and associated site work within a regulated area. That public hearing scheduled for June 17th, 2026. So we will be having our Conservation Commission meeting. And then after that, we will be putting on the hat of inland wetlands and going into those. Okay. And the second one is WP 26-0051, Redness Mead, 121 Winton Road, map 143, parcel 163. Construction of single family residence and associated site improvements, including a driveway, motor ports, swimming pool, patios, utilities, and stormwater management systems within a regulated area. Public hearing scheduled for June 17, 2020. Roman numeral 7 is applications for receipt. Number 1 is WP 26-0056, JP Franz and Associates, 41 Cherry Lane, map 171, parcel 35. The construction of a 2.5-story single-family residence with a attached garage, driveway, associated hardscape patios, on-site septic system and stormwater management system, and associated site work within a regulated area. The last day for a public hearing or decision is August 7, 2026. The last regular meeting prior is August 5th, 2026. And staff recommends scheduling a site walk and a public hearing for August 5th, 2026. Okay. We'll put it down for August 5th, and site walks are, you guys care if in July, even though we don't know? How do you feel about that? And everybody away, I know we put it.
We're gonna be around most of July.
Yeah, so, we can do it at. Not sure, what are the?
Sometime in June.
Sometime in June? Okay,
We already have a site walk scheduled next week, I think.
right. And that's got 3 sites. Do I mean, that would be long to go to 2 more sites. Yeah.
You want to do it towards the end of July, but right before the hearing, it's like fresher?
That would be my preference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Also, if I may point out, under section 13, we have 3 sites to schedule
we have 3 sites to schedule.
sidewalks, so. With the June 10th site visits plus these 3.
Plus 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the next 2. Right, because then the next one is gonna be a site walk as well. We have,
No, this is inclusive of those 2.
oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh,
So we have 3, we have the 6 June 10th visits and then these 3 new ones.
all right. So then these are the 3 that we're talking about here, 2 of them being the application for receipt. So, I'm thinking July 22nd or July 29th. Commissioners, any preference?
I think I could do either. Maybe July, do I do July 29?
July 29th it is then. And
Bless you. Thank you.
well, like we always do, right? So we have a site walk, it's an agenda thing, and anybody who can make it. Stop. You know,
We
try to
have
do it on your own. Yeah, we have Peter. Peter, are you okay for July 29th?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say,
Here,
most
what-
importantly, is Peter available for July
Yes,
29?
I like that. All right, so let's, okay.
They're all really
So-
close together.
so
too.
they're
They're
okay.
all within.
6 p.m. still works?
Oh, yeah, sure. Good. All right, so number 2 on applications for receipt is WP 26-0064. Kaminsky, 290 Long Meadow Road, map 165, parcel 23C. Construction of additions and a patio to the existing main dwelling. Reconstruction of the existing barn, driveway modification, installation of new septic system and stormwater management system and associated site work within a regulated area. Again, the last day for public hearing and decision is August 7, 2026. Last regular meeting prior is August 5th, 2026, and the staff recommends scheduling the site walk and a public hearing for August 5th, 2026. Public hearing August 5th, 2026, and the site walk will be discussed on the 29th of July. Roman numeral 8 is declaratory ruling request. Number 1 is 1159 Reading Road, Russo and Rizio LLC, map 221, parcel 30. Construction of a driveway to connect access to Riders Lane within a regulated area. Staff recommends scheduling a site walk and submissions. Certificate of Woodlands conformance. of wetlands conformance PWC for review. And I see council has graced us with his presence.
Chair. Chair, members of the commission, Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road. Normally I'd say I'm happy to be here, but the Knicks are about to tip off, so I'm under duress. I'm wearing my tie, so.
See it.
Okay, so, I know. Had my notes.
Just-
I think they just fell off.
Fell the front page fell, thank you. Okay, so. Here for the property, 1159 Reading Road. It is a large parcel, with farmland. It has an existing single-family residence that is located, closer towards Reading Road. And then it has, farmland that's, down in this area, around where there's a pond, and also by, Riders Lane. It's owned by Fairfield Horticultural Farm LLC, does business as Twin Oaks Farm. And it's operated, this portion is operated as a working horticultural farm. It's a use that's recognized and documented in multiple town of Fairfield permits, already in the record that I submitted. As noted by staff, we've been before this commission several times, in fact, for this property on declaratory rulings. You might remember the most recent one that I handled, which was a couple years back for the construction of a barn. So we submitted a DR for that, and this commission granted it. So farming operations established and recognized by this commission. It's listed as farm by the tax assessor. It's well established. We're following that same process now for this farm driveway that we did for the barn. It's a driveway directly related to the farming operation. It's permitted as of right under section 22A-40A1. So we're again filing that declaratory ruling in accordance with the state statute. As far as the proposed activity, it's really kind of minimal. It's so you could see Riders Lane is right here. There's a cul-de-sac there. And all we're doing is putting a drive here that will let us access onto the farmland from Riders Lane. You may have seen in the record, I submitted the permit from the engineering department, it's permit 6005. It required a 10-foot paved driveway apron at Riders Lane connection. So that's being proposed. And then I also submitted a second permit, permit 6006, for the on-site gravel access portion, which again was approved by the engineering department. They noted that it was gravel access for farming activity. The other permit I submitted was from the tree warden, because there's 6 trees that are along Riders Lane that would have to be removed. So both the engineering permits and the tree removal permit were issued, and I submitted those for the record. My client, wants to use a farm driveway. It's funny. So I live around the corner on Merwin's Lane. I also have a hobby farm, but I'm trying at least. And I totally understand what he's trying to do. I have a similar situation. Mine's more of a U driveway, but similar to him, of a driveway where main principal house is close to the roadway. And that's where my kids' toys and their sports equipment, their bikes, they're all over in that area. And it's the same thing for my client. He has it over here in this area. And then for me, same as him, I have an area where we work on the other side of my property to do farming. And it's really convenient to have a separate driveway and not have the two conflict with each other. he's looking to do the same things that I do. I have Maple Row Farm comes, they deliver compost soil to me, they deliver feed, plants, sometime hay, things like that. He has extensive vegetable fields here along the back. He has animals. He's looking to get more animals. And so really it provides an access where, if a truck needs to come in, usually when Maple Row Farm comes, they come in like a dump truck and they come and they'll dump it out of the back. So they can come in here, give him the materials he needs for his farming operation. But also, if he's transporting his vegetables and things he's growing off property, they can come in and out of here. So it's directly related to the farming operation, which is the requirement under state statute. It really serves no purpose for the balance of the property. I mean, you have access out onto Reading Road. It's not like it provides you any better access to the principal residence. If you know this area, if you were coming up Reading Road, if it was property, you would just go up Reading Road to get to his house. You have to go on Merwin's Lane. Merwin's Lane curves, comes up, and then Riders Lane, it comes off of here, and then it would just put you on the wrong side of it. So it has no purpose except for the farming operation. And so in accordance with that, under state statute, if you're doing something farming and for a road that's directly related to farming, you apply for a declaratory ruling, which is what we've done each time and what we're looking to do here. It's noted on the engineering permit. It's about 500 square feet of driveway. It's not that significant. Again, it's just the apron and then it's gravel access. They did note that there might be the need for some drainage that's noted on the permit. But again, other than that, it's not going through any wetlands or anything like that. There's no filling of wetlands. It's just regulated area. Again, there's the pond here, and then there's a neighbor that also has a pond in their front yard over here. But it's not going through any of that area. And so that's really the short of it, and happy to answer any questions. I do have an aerial just so you can see. So you can see here's the client's property. They have that pond out front. Here's my client's pond. Here's the end of Riders Lane. You can see the fields. It's approved for the barn. That's already underway. The foundations started on that. And that's about it.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Already has access to Dirt Road off his driveway to all those fields.
Right.
So why does he need something off of Riders Lane?
Separate the uses, and there's no requirement under the law, if you look at state law, that says if you have another access, then you don't get access from another location.
No, I
And
understand.
again, I completely sympathize with them
I'm
because
just
when
looking at
you're
needs.
farming, you're just going, sometimes you just run out, come back in, you have materials that are brought in. And this is right here off the road.
No, I understand, but
And
I mean,
so-
it would be one thing if the house, you had to sort of go by the house to get to the fields, but you don't. There's a branch, I mean, you're not even anywhere near the house when you turn off to get to the backside.
But this is still an area, like his kids are up there.
That's a
his-
huge hill, Chris.
Yeah, but this is, his kids use this whole area. And so, I mean,
Right.
I understand wanting it to be separate and again, I think it's well within the statute. The statute doesn't say if you have access somewhere else, then you're not allowed to have
Oh, I
access. It
understand.
just says,
I
if it's
understand.
if it's
I
related.
just
to
don't see a
farming.
need for it, but that's beside the point here, but, I mean, the house is on a big hill. But, anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Chris, could you point out what the access is now?
If you would go, what Commissioner's saying here is, so you would come in here and then you'd go down here. Yep.
Just a couple things. The tree removal permit expired in 2022.
Right, so we would have to, but it's the same trees.
Right.
So we would just have to get renewed. And I think, again, that's evidence that
Right.
it's gonna get, it's gonna get renewed. He's already had conversations with them and the same thing with engineering.
Okay, and then it says regulation, I'm sure you read Tim's notes, but regulation 4.1 that specifically cites the provision of this subdivision shall not be construed to include road construction or the erection of buildings not directly related to the farming operation. And staff's recommendation is that you seek a certificate of wetland conformance.
Right, so if it was not directly related.
Right.
Correct. So for instance, I'm trying to think of a scenario, but basically, if the farmland was all over here and let's say he had a house up here and it was a driveway here to the house, I don't think you could go in and say, like, it was clearly a connection to the house. But because it's directly related, and there's a case, it's funny, there is a case that is. Oh, sorry? Indian Spring, yeah. Indian Spring goes through this and it has a paragraph.
Comma.
That says, consider an agricultural landowner who decides to construct a new barn for his, or silo for his farm on a portion of his property that contains wetlands. Under 22A-40A1, the landowner is permitted to undertake the new building construction as of right, and the local wetlands agency would have no jurisdiction over the landowner's activity, which was what happened here. There was a barn proposed. The commission doesn't have jurisdiction according to the Supreme Court. We filed for the declaratory ruling because that's what you do when you're proposing farm activity. So that was approved. And so the Supreme Court in this case was reversing the trial court who had ruled against the farmer essentially. And he said under the trial court's interpretation, however, the local wetlands agency would have jurisdiction to regulate the construction of a farm road leading to the new barn, but not the construction of the barn itself. Such a result is plainly unreasonable and does nothing to further the goals of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Act. So what they're saying is, well, how could you approve the barn as a DR, but then not the road to it? And so, so again, I think for this scenario, I think case law is pretty clear, and that's a hypothetical that really kind of matches this exact case, where I think, again, this farm road directly relates to the farming operation.
Correct me if I'm wrong, in the case, in the precedent case, there wasn't already a road to that barn.
So that road was a little more intense because it was filling in wetlands. So it
No,
was
I
a little bit
understand
more.
that, but
So there was like
there
a
also
feasible
wasn't
improvement
another
alternative.
way to access.
Right, but they didn't say in the statute that if you have an alternative means you can't
I
have it.
understand that. Just wanna
It's if
clarify.
it's directly related. And that's kind of what my comments were about. If you know this area, it's not like this provides some type of big benefit to the house in the sense of like to access it. Because if you're looking to access the house, you're just gonna come in from Reading Road. This is off of Merwin's Lane and then off of Riders Lane, and it puts you down here. So it's really just so this can stay separate from up here.
And where that, where all of that debris and staging area has sat for all of these years, that is where the barn's being
That's where the
constructed?
barn, yeah.
that's
And
already been
this
set.
isn't updated, but there's the foundation's in. I have pictures of the,
Do that, just out of curiosity, what animals do they have there?
they have, so they're down to one alpaca. They had alpacas. They, and again, I can sympathize with this. They had some learning curve with the alpacas. And so now they've learned and they're ready to bring back more, alpacas, yeah.
And the barn is.
And
for the-
possibly other,
Yeah.
possibly other animals.
And the barn is for for animal use?
I don't know, I don't know exactly where the alpaca is right now. And if they would plan maybe on putting them on the barn, I don't know that.
I would be interested in knowing if the road is there to better access the barn, it's being constructed,
Yeah, well, in the barn,
then what
I
is
have the
barn being
plans
used
for the barn, the old plans for the barn, but there's a lot, I mean, you could store your hay, all your supplies that they need. I mean, you know, they have rows upon rows of vegetables here. So, I mean, I know how much I have for my small little garden, so I can only imagine to have rows. And they have people come and they, you know, do all that they need for, you know, laying down the covers and putting up the tunnels and things like that, that come in to maintain the operation there.
Sorry, I just have one more question. Is that all one tax lot?
This is all one tax lot. Yes.
Yes.
I think that my issue really is that they do have access. That dirt road is access and they have access off of Reading Road. So like, you know, I'm just struggling with putting in more impervious surface over on riders. So I understand they
Yeah, I mean,
want it,
it
but
just,
like,
there's
is it
no
really
basis in.
But why not go for a certificate of wetland? Why?
Because it's, the reason it's before you the way it is, because it's a farming operation.
I
Which
know,
puts
I
it under the state
understand, but
statute. But if you put it into certificate of wetland conformance, it's like moving it out of that lane. And so it's like, it's not in the certificate of wetlands conformance lane because it's in the farming operation declaratory ruling. So it's like, it's, you're totally taking it out of the lane, and that's why I don't think it's the appropriate way. And I will say, well, I mean, I don't want to minimize things, but it's a gravel access drive, except for the apron. And it's 500 square feet. So it's not a, you know, massive, development. And yeah, so I think it's pretty minimal, and it's just gonna allow access to this area and to keep things separated.
Anything? Ed or Peter, you guys are on mine. Hear any question?
I think I'm in the middle of this. It's frustrating.
Nope. I don't have any alpacas.
Okay. Peter, when you say you're in the middle of this?
Because I find I really don't think it's appropriate, but I have to say I find counsel's argument persuasive, you know, it's very thorough and I have to say it's persuasive.
Council does a good job.
Yeah, well, and again, I appreciate.
I don't, my
the concerns.
problem is I don't see the direct connection to the farming. I think that's a little weak. I do see your point. I'm just right in the middle of this one, unfortunately.
I mean, and again, that's why it was relating to me, and I was talking to my client about it, because he was asking me, I mean, when Maple Road I don't need to be there, and they come and they deliver regularly. And they come in my second, or, you know, it's second access. So it's like it's a U, and they come into that side and they deposit, and that's where I keep the compost and mulch and, you know, all the feed and things like that.
Large.
And so I could go, you know, I could go pull from that back and forth, and it's all there. So I understand what he's doing.
So they're, just to be clear, they're large trucks delivering
Yeah,
hay.
which come, you know, I don't get them every day. They come
But you said
every
regular.
couple weeks. Yeah, they'll come like every couple weeks, every 3 weeks, you know, you'll get I mean, trust me, this area, there's landscaping vehicles moving around. There's a lot of things moving around. But for this particular use, they would come in, and then there would be the folks who, you know, if somebody's coming to work on the, you know, on the actual vegetable fields, they could come and enter through there. They could go right from there. So
And would there be a spot for the trucks to turn around?
they could pull up to the barn, and I think there's area around the barn, that they could turn around.
And that would be part of the driveway.
There was already a portion of the gravel drive that was already approved around the barn.
Gravel, not.
Yeah, so on the Existing driveway on this site on Redden Road meets, farming operation includes existing farm road to the barn, which was issued a declaratory ruling in March 2024.
Four, right, that was the last one I did. So, yeah, and so again, I understand, I just, if you look at the statute, there's nothing about it needing to be critical. There's nothing about it saying if there's another means of access, that means you don't get another. There's nothing like that. It just has to be directly related to the farming operation. And it is, I don't see what other possible, value it would have beyond that.
So the question before us is really a yes or no.
It is, yeah.
So my experience as a wetland consultant, the courts are very, very supportive of the farm use, and I think the council has, in my mind, has established it's a declaratory ruling for farm use. I wouldn't feel comfortable going against it, because I don't think we could support it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I don't want to waste the commission's time, nor do I want to waste your time, Chris, because if we deny it, I have no doubt that he will appeal. But I just don't think that the argument is compelling enough that they need that drive. I think that the potential impacts of having large delivery trucks coming in from a relatively small road could have potential impact. The idea of more asphalt, I will never like. And I just don't see the need.
It's just not the same standard, though.
It's just
either
need,
yes or
if you
no.
look at if you read the literal state statute, there's nothing
I-
need in there.
Yeah,
Plus, we have the case that,
Right.
I guess that Judge Repression, in the
Yeah.
sense that he gave a scenario that was very, very.
That was clear. And and it's one of those things, I mean, as a lawyer, like if it had said something like critical or something, a need,
Yeah.
we would be able to search case law and say, okay, well, what is that? But it's not there.
Commissioners, any other questions? Comments? Are there any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the declaratory ruling as its performance with the acting.
Sorry?
Farm use.
The state statute? 22A-40A1.
22-40A1.
Commissioner Payne has a motion. Any second for that motion? Any second for that motion? Seconds that motion. All in favor? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like it passes 5, well, all opposed. 2 opposed, so it's got it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Go next.
You're gonna go? I'm gonna take a 2-minute break. I hope you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chris, where are you on Merwin's?
533.
What's that?
533, it's right at the turn.
Oh, yeah?
The old White House that's really close to
Oh,
Merwin's.
yeah, across, yeah.
Recording stopped.
So before.
Recording in progress.
No, it's okay.
All right, we're back. And we're moving on, to Roman numeral 9, old business, nothing there. Roman numeral 10, bills and bond releases, nothing there. Roman numeral 11, legal and enforcement actions. This has gotten pretty long. Do you want to give us a summary? Maybe that's easier, maybe anything that's pertinent, I guess. Otherwise, they're just updates and you tell us that everything's going great, or there's somebody that's doing something really bad.
No problem. I'll shorten this up for you. I'll skip to number 2, an update on Hurley 120 Merwin's Lane. No action has been taken to date. I have been in correspondence over the phone and email with the current owner. I am meeting with the town attorney on Friday of this week to discuss taking some action, because this is significant and poses threats to adverse impacts to wetlands, since this property has wetlands on 3 sides. So we shall see there. Skip to number 4, update at Grasso 30 Laurelbrook Lane. No citation appeal was received by the department, and no fine payment has been received regarding the last citation yet to date. That will be discussed in my meeting on Friday as well. And an update on number 8, attorney Emma Ignati was here tonight on some other matters. She provided with the update that field work is going to be continued at 990 Banks Road North as of June 9th, and the survey is underway. So that is moving forward with this agency and the Conservation Commission.
Excellent.
And the rest are, there for reading.
Yeah. It's
Reading enjoyment.
we continue to monitor them. So if there's a change, we would know about it, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
And also, I did skip one, sorry. Number 3, Black at 270 Bronson. I did make the recommendation to authorize agent, me or the department as your agent to assist the town attorney in filing suit as of June 17th, assuming the property owner takes no action. That his NOV citation notice all in writing have all been ignored. No correspondence has been received by the department to date. And this goes back many months.
Okay, so do you want us to do some sort of motion to allow a lawsuit and you cooperate with the town attorney to do so?
Yes, please. Again, assuming no cooperation is received by June 17th, which is the deadline provided in the citation and notice.
Oh, okay. How about we just do that on June 17th? Yeah,
That's fine.
that.
Oh, we have a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. That was actually written before.
Yep, very good.
You took $9,500 on last month, on the 26th.
Yes, so that is now, broke 10,000 and counting
Okay.
for the citation,
Okey-dokey.
which was unappealed.
Yep.
And ignored.
That's something. Commissioners, any questions or comments to
No.
a good director here? No, all right. Roman number 12, the staff report. Number 1, reports from the Conservation Department. A CWC permit application received 11 as of 5/27/26. Notices of violation issued 0. Okay. C, citations issued 1. B, bonds released 7 as of 5/26/2026. And E is litter boom installation, May 26, 2026. All right, tell us about that then.
Briefly, everyone knows the litter boom on the Roos River. We did install it on the 26th with our partners in Harbor Watch and Osprey Initiative. I did have a sign made up and that was installed today at the property, so passerbys know what is going on and that there was not a oil tanker spill upstream that is actually collecting garbage. That information is provided on the sign with the 5 partner logos and seals for the town of Fairfield, the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut DOT, Osprey Initiative, and Harbor Watch. Staff was passed by the litter boom today, and it is collecting the organics, pollen, and leaves and stuff like that. But we did during the installation collect a whole bunch of garbage. Two big barrels full. And many of those were nips, so.
Do we get to keep some money from the nips as well?
It does get organized and weighed, both weight and volume gets recorded. It does get sorted as well, so it can be categorized, so part of this process not only is obviously the removal of the debris and trash from the water course, preventing it from getting to Long Island Sound, but also reporting and keeping track of what we're actually collecting, and if we see a pattern, and do some statistical analysis to see why are we getting a lot of this material, and what's happening upstream, can we fix it? So Harbor Watch will be doing that work, but it is in. I will send notice to the agency and the commission. We are going to do a ribbon cutting and a press release with the city and the state and our partners. So obviously the commission will be invited with the town's administration and whatnot. So I expect that in the next couple of weeks as well.
Okay, great.
But there is already some cool video on your Instagram.
There
Or
is.
no, should I? Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Yeah, Nicole did a good job
Yeah.
publishing that, getting the word out on our department homepage and social media. So I've gotten feedback already from other agencies and stuff. So it is kind of so far the first one, especially a public-private partnership with two municipalities and state and private. So it's pretty cool that it's actually happened and at no expense to the taxpayer. Thank you to the so I did get recognition from Representative Gresco out of the Stratford area, who's very supportive of environmental actions. So he gave us a shout out during the Council on Environmental Quality meeting this past month, May, and at the Municipal Rivers Network meeting that I attended last week. So that information's out there, which is pretty cool. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any comments? Questions? Nope, moving on. Room numeral 13, other. Number 1, potential sidewalks to be scheduled, so it's A 41 Cherry Lane, B 290 Long Meadow Road, and C 1159 Reading Road.
That could be eliminated.
That can be eliminated. So
I'll cross that off.
So it's A and B. And we said July 29th.
Yes, July 29th, 6 p.m. A and B. Correct.
Okay.
I'll notice those.
Any other?
Yeah, we had an NOV on 42 Anvil, and I noticed that they just put that house up for sale. So I don't know what the status of that is, Tim, but I'm wondering if we should record the NOV.
Okay. That was actually the one Attorney Russo was handling.
Okay.
Do you recall we received?
We have not gotten anything yet.
They're supposed to put a
What's
certificate
there?
in. I'll reach out to Attorney Russo
Good
tomorrow.
call, Diane.
She's on it,
noticed
man.
I was gonna say, wow.
Is on it.
On it. Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Anything that appears in MLS or land records, I will see it.
Do you want, is it appropriate for the agency to make a motion in the event that given a certain time frame, if X doesn't happen, then Y should, or do you comfortable just leaving
Yes,
it?
because the house could sell pretty quickly, couldn't it?
Yeah, I just think it's why, well, I would be in favor of recording every NOV, but that's
Recording
just
on the land
me.
records?
Pardon?
Recording it on the land record?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I would, no, I don't want that, but they're in our files, right? They're, yeah,
Yes.
so,
They haven't submitted an application for a permit yet.
yes, but the NOV is there.
The NOV is
So
there.
assuming it's
Mhm.
But you said a title
more
search.
more and more attorneys are not only getting a title search, they're doing what's called a municipal search. And that somebody, you have people coming to your desk and looking at stuff,
They
right?
do, but not
But
always.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah, especially if it's a cash deal, then the land records wouldn't matter anyway,
right,
so to speak, but
right.
Well,
And-
that's the
Diane does
risk
everything.
that the owner takes, so then it doesn't stop with the current owner, it continues on to the new buyer.
yeah.
And this is the one with, I'm sorry, this is the one with the batting cage and it's completely in the.
Easement
in
and
the
regulated
easement and the
area.
regulated area. So this is a bigger
Yeah.
issue.
And the
then
shed. The shed too.
And the shed, and I think that Russo had said the last time Chris had said that they were gonna demolish,
it.
they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
gonna, right.
I mean, has it, maybe that's happened. You wanna take a drive that way, see if.
Yeah, we could check it out.
If looks like there's construction or, something happening, maybe they're demolishing it before they sell.
Which address?
Right.
42 Anvil.
Yeah, I'll follow up both ways.
Okay.
So what are we doing about this?
I will go out to the site this week, see what I could see, and also contact Attorney Russo to get a timeframe on expected submission of that.
So you don't feel the need to record violation?
That's,
I don't,
that's up to you guys
I wouldn't wanna do that.
as the agency.
And we can revisit it in, less than 2 weeks? On the 7th?
Yeah, I just don't think that a new owner should get nailed with something like that.
A new owner should absolutely get nailed with something like that if they don't do their due diligence. So that's
That's
why.
right. That's what I agree with that.
You do your municipal search, whether it's a cash deal or not, you do it. You don't want to do it because you
But is
don't spend an extra
something
$100
like that going to show up in a
Yes,
municipal?
absolutely it will come up. It will absolutely come up and it'll show that it's been on our agenda. It'll be there. So a title searcher, a municipal searcher will see it. So, and that's where it should be because land records, those are harder to deal with.
Also, if we were gonna record each NOV, would we have to pay a fee to the town? No, because we are an
No.
agency, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to, okay.
It is cumbersome
It is, yeah.
on our end, but if, that's something the agency wants, then that's what we do.
Right, but I want to be clear. Somebody comes to our staff window,
To our counter. yeah.
the counter, that you give them whatever they ask for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have absolute notice and that you're not hiding anything. It's all there.
And all of my
Yeah.
staff knows.
We get
Yeah.
emails
Never
every
certain
day,
addresses.
and they specifically ask for any permits, applications, violations.
Absolutely.
So,
That's what they need to have, right? Because, might somebody come and say, hey, is this in a wetlands area?
Yep.
And you say, yes, and that's it, that's not good enough. You gotta say, yes, by the way.
Yeah.
Look, there's
Yeah.
these other things that are going on with this property.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, if there's anything active
Yes.
going on, we do let them know.
That's what the money is for.
All right. Anything further? Anyone? Going once, going twice? Sorry about that.